I brought an outfit.
You did live. All right, and we're live. So this is the Fantasy Trail, Season 3, Episode 11, Trade Deadline Impact. Of course, I'm Matt, along with Mike.
Mike Scarano here.
JT here as well for the Thursday night special.
Yep. Sorry, guys, about changing it. Just with Halloween, we figured Casey was going to be out trick-or-treating, so we didn't want to interrupt him. So we decided to move it back a day.
You saying because he's short? Because if you are, it makes it more funny.
Put the wig on, man. He's Kaepernick.
Oh, Casey. He's one of the only ones who watches the show. Shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, we just slashed our audience in half.
So, I will say, though, it's been a very busy couple days. Like, I thought waivers was a little quiet this week. Not much, but then the past couple days, I mean, there's been a lot of movement.
Waivers was moving. I think the reason, Matt, that waivers might be a little quieter is because you and I seem to have almost our entire teams on a bye, and I think that would mean that a lot of other teams don't have as many buys.
And what I found is I made several myself that didn't go through. Other people took my picks. So
yeah, there weren't that many great players available as I'm dealing with.
And now, Scarano, are you watching? You already have 5.5 points. It's a big night.
Yeah, I know the game's on. Well, one of the interesting things that I thought I'd just bring up a little bit before the show is some of the interesting things that did happen with the trade deadline and its effect that's going to have. Tamal, I just want to ask you what's your take on the Golden Tate situation. Yeah. Big, thick receiver, man. He's exactly what you guys need. He's like a running back who's like a receiver.
I think it's a great pickup for you.
Yes.
Yes. It hurts my fantasy team.
Okay. I wasn't really talking. I was talking about it towards
you're an Eagles fan first.
Yeah, I want to know. I mean, you won't be able to tell. It depends. Are we going to re-sign him? I mean, Aguilar needs a new contract, so it's either going to be one or the other.
But you still have Wentz pretty cheap right now, and the NFL stands for not for long.
Yeah.
So because of it, if you guys are going to make a run, listen, I think you could take that division now. I think it's an easy take.
I agree. I think it's a good move. I think it's a worthy risk.
I would have liked a defensive tackle, offensive tackle, or a safety before.
Casey Peters isn't looking too sharp, is he now? Former Buffalo Bill. And Green Bay, I was going to do a hot take on him, but I can't say. You potentially have, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks to lace him up, and you still have a fire sale. I just don't get it. You have the fourth best safety in the league, and you get rid of him? For what? For a fourth-round pick? You think you could get the best safety in the league in the fourth round? Good luck.
Was it fourth round or was it a fifth round?
I thought it was fourth round for Diggs.
It's cash, man. That's what's driving all of this. Is getting under the cap. It's knowing what's coming next year and looking at the division and going, we're not going to probably win it. They know they've got the Bears and Minnesota battling.
A poorly managed team, dude.
Yeah, listen, I hear you, but it's always cash. The answer is always cash.
All right.
Seems like the Rams are on a different pay scale than everyone else.
Cheap quarterback, man. Rodgers making a ton of money.
Yeah, that is it.
With Wentz. All right, Tamala, let's hit up the week 8s.
Let's start with Colin beating Joel. This was one of the closer matchups of the week, 138 to 133.
This was an absolute dagger. She made a last-minute move of taking out the Steelers defense and putting in the Dolphins defense and putting in Uzomah as a second tight end for her flex. She didn't really have much else because of buys, and Alfred Blue played early, and then Albert Wilson got put on the IR. But if she just makes the move of Steelers defense for Dolphins, that's a 12-point swing, and she wins. That hurts.
Yeah, it does. It does hurt.
Why did you choose that one?
Houston's been giving up 1 million sacks. I mean, Watson's been getting annihilated. Dolphins have been okay. I personally would have been more than fine with playing Steelers against Cleveland. Cleveland is not a great.
I mean, Steelers have been still getting a a lot of pressure on the quarterback, though. I mean, they have, I want to say the top 10 in sacks.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one of those things where I think if you look at the numbers, maybe Miami was actually projected for more, but the understanding of football and the knowledge of football is a little bit lacking in terms of what those teams really are. And it hurt her because she had a good score.
Yeah,
but I mean, everyone who played in the Thursday night game came out feeling happy with their players, except for Joel.
Right.
What's the take on the situation with Demaryius Thomas?
I think she's fine with it. I mean, I can't imagine that it's a worse situation. He was the number 2 in Denver. He's the number 2 in Houston. I think Watson's a better quarterback than Keenum.
Oh, certainly. Certainly. I think that's easy. Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think Colin pulled out the victory with the way he's been doing it all year. Solid quarterback play. Todd Gurley blowing up and then hoping for one other guy to have a nice game.
Carson.
That's what he had. And, pulled out a nice victory. 138 is a good score.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Especially with all the buys that we have going on.
It was a tough bye week.
Yeah, and he had 2 of his better receivers that he'd normally be playing that he had to sit due to injury. So that's a good win for him with a couple guys down.
All right. Next, we have Scarano, the lowest score of the week. 80.
Guys, I have nothing to say.
94. Angela beat him.
All right.
My guys didn't show up. It was a very tough bye week for me. I did say before that Atlanta's bye week is one of my harder ones.
True as that may be, if you look at the matchups on paper, there's no way you would have predicted an L or a score this low.
No, this is a very bad week for me, man. My guys just didn't show up. Indy defense, everyone. Shepard doesn't show. Baldwin doesn't show. Allison doesn't show. Funches doesn't show. None of them show up.
Yeah.
None of them. These are guys who have actually paid off for me at one point or another during the year, and nobody shows except McCaffrey.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Cook at least did a little bit for you too.
Yeah.
But Brady, oof. I mean, to put up 25, it's his second worst.
And for him to put up a 13 with 320 yards.
Very strange.
What happened?
I wonder the last time he hadn't thrown a touchdown. I don't know when that was, but certainly not this year.
And I just don't get it.
I mean, Doug Martin was your 4th highest scoring player, and that's it's a bad week.
Yeah. I mean, he had 99 yards from scrimmage. He had 99 yards from scrimmage that game.
72.
Yeah, but still didn't end up with 9 points.
Yeah.
Tough one, buddy. We all hit these.
Tough one. It's a very tough loss for me.
Yeah, interestingly enough, I mean that loss would really hurt you if it were a little later in the season because
yes. I think it could have implications. This could have implications later on still.
Yeah, because Angela's not going anywhere, and you just got yourself knocked out of the playoffs at least for 1 week.
Yeah.
And the thing with Angela, she's sticking with Mitch, and Cam has just been absolute on fire.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if it was the worst call. Cam has been an MVP candidate, but Trubisky is the 7th-ranked quarterback in the league, and he has not had a bad game since that week she picked him up.
And I also feel Cam Newton historically, not this year, maybe it's because of Norv Turner, but I feel historically he has been up and down. I used to call him roller coaster Cam or something to that extent. Like you wouldn't know what you'd get week from week with him. Now, granted, this year that's been different.
Going against the top defense. Granted, he was at home, but Baltimore had been shutting people down. The week before, they shut down Breeze, so I can kind of see it. I don't know what her logic was, but I can certainly see what mine would have been.
We're looking at this with some very much hindsight now.
And, I must say, I feel kind of bad with her tight end. Watson puts up a 0. Both her options aren't great, but, she just can't seem to pick the right one.
Right. Yeah.
Got to play that waiver wire.
Not much out there in the tight end family.
Not right now. No, sir.
All right. Another close game. We had Rachel losing to Casey, 142 to 145.
Oh, what a stomach punch.
Yeah.
What a stomach punch.
And
all night she was hanging in there, and the Bills were hanging in there too.
Yeah.
And it was a 1-2 dagger.
And plus, I was pulling for you, man. I was pulling for you the whole time, kid.
There couldn't have been a worse fourth quarter.
And the thing with Rachel is she left a bunch of points on her bench. McCoy had 16. Lockett had a 13. Willie Snead had a 10.
Yeah, Miss
Barber had a
always
15.
play the Buffalo Bills. Stay loyal to the Bills. Doesn't play shady.
Doesn't play in that one game. But again, we're looking at this very, very hindsight. I mean, what other scores has McCoy gotten this year? I don't know.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad call. You know, I'm not saying she made the wrong choice. I'm just saying it hurts when you have those points on your bench that really help.
I think in the NFL aspect, not the fantasy aspect, I think the Bills made an incredibly dumb move not moving him.
Yeah.
I think
AP's paying off for her, though. I really feel like that
time.
trade has been very good for both teams. He had a couple of down weeks right after the trade, but the last two, he's been good. And
He's an RB1.
Yeah, this past week, he could have easily been the reason she would have put up one of the better scores. And just takes a tough L at the end there. Yeah. That one sucked. Casey's got to be thrilled, though.
Yeah, that may have saved his season. And you know what? Fitzgerald looked alive.
Yeah, that was the first game. And like the last game was a complete garbage TD. And I think we were all talking last week about whether or not Kamara was really going to suffer thanks to Ingram, and he bounced back with a really nice game.
He had a good game. I just wonder from here on out to you, there's possibility that like he just splits some time.
So I wonder, they got Fitzgerald going. They're on a bye. I wonder if they're able to do anything with Johnson, get him more involved.
I mean, not a horrible game, but not what you're looking for from your number one pick.
I think you're just going to need Rosen to be able to show that he could get first downs, or as we like to call it, rhythm. But I always say whenever anyone says on TV rhythm, they just mean first downs. And if you can't get Rosen to be able to move the chains, I think you're going to have a tough time getting Johnson going.
Yeah, another close matchup. I think these were some pretty close matchups. Michael Thomas loses 154 to Jake's 159.
You should not lose with a 154. Both Rachel and Michael put up great scores and really just.
Yes. Well, I think they're both no votes, aren't they? In the new scoring system. We'll be watching your vote next year. Thank you.
Yeah, Michael's got to be kicking himself for Jameis. I mean, he'd been riding him, and he had been doing well, the 35, the 20, and then he became Jameis again. The clock struck midnight.
It's one of the things that I've said about, when we start to look at some of the elite quarterbacks, which I think Goff actually is, they definitely offer some consistency. It's the same thing with the whole Fitzmagic thing. He could put up a great score. Ryan Fitzpatrick was over 400 yards. Not consistent.
Okay,
maybe
that were some Goff. Name one quarterback who has even close to the same weapons that he has.
It's Winston.
They don't have a running game.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I see what he was thinking. I played Jameis in my other league too. Cincinnati had a bad pass defense. Jameis had been throwing like crazy. They've been getting behind and just hucking it. Goff, you didn't know about his receivers. They're playing in Green Bay. It sucks. That's his call that ends up losing him the game.
And you know what? I mean, there was a pass in that game where I believe it was Humphreys actually dropped it in the end zone. That would have changed his day.
Sure.
Yep. And interesting to see
Magic is back.
Signs of life from Devontae Parker after almost all weeks with zero, barely playing.
He's another one that I was somewhat surprised didn't seem to be floating around this trade deadline.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody wanted him, but he certainly looked good in his, audition.
Yeah. And then, Jake, I mean, he put up a solid score.
Great Thursday night from Hopkins.
Yep.
Great Monday night from Edelman. And that was an interesting back and forth. Michael was kind of keeping us up in the chat, but it was Edelman versus Gostowski. And, Gostowski there for a while was getting field goal after field goal after field goal. Yeah. Edelman was catching passes. And, that game was really close.
And back and missed forth. That one, which I think would have been.
It was interesting because the Bills defense actually managed to seem to, stop the Patriots in the red zone. Or pardon me, maybe not the red zone, but within the 30,
How deep was the one he missed? Probably wasn't more than a 50-yarder. That almost would have hurt more. He'd have lost by 0.7.
Yeah. So, these are both,
that's tough.
Two great teams.
Yep.
Progressive scoring system, guys. We'll be watching your vote.
Play golf every week, Michael.
Now, we've talked about a lot of close games. Let's go to the game that wasn't so close. JT, you beat Rich 120 to 161.
Yeah, buddy. This train's still rolling.
So this is a second
with a zero from Martavius now.
Top 3 score.
Top 2 score.
A 0 from Martavius with 1. This is impressive, Jay. Do you feel your world turning around?
No.
Let's make things very clear.
No. Putting it very simply, no. I'll tell you what, it was very nice to have a nice week. It felt good to actually have some nice numbers across the board. But the week I do it, I have my second player who tears his ACL. I have my now third, one of my best players that is out for the year. Fournette and got a Garoppolo and Fuller. And as a result, I have to trade AP. I just, there's no depth. I know some of these guys are okay, but I'm
worried on the Fournette situation.
I've had a couple trade offers here and there, but none of them I feel are worth what I acquire. Not that he's worth very much right now. I totally understand that it's a complete gamble on my part. But my only hope going forward is that I have a stud like him to come back, next week or the week after and put up some big points. Because what I'm being offered are guys that are just, I need points. I need points big time. And I can pick up waiver wire guys that are close to the guys I'm being offered in trading. Whereas when he comes back, I could get 20 or 30 from him every week.
It's worth holding it on. Do you any regrets on not trying to get him into that IR spot?
Yeah, but there was never an indication that it was going to be more than a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
But even with that screws up your team, because if they're not listed as out, you can't keep them in IR and make other moves.
He's never been put on IR. He's never been listed as out. It's a cluster.
Which makes me question whether our IR rule was really, because it does prevent you from making the moves.
I mean, gentlemen, we got together for this first week of watching football, and you and I have watched every carry of Leonard Fournette's entire season.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to make other acquisitions, so it's.
Scarano, I want you to remember, we heard from Pam Oliver on the sideline. He might be back in the second half. I'm still waiting.
They were stretching him out. They were stretching him out on the sideline. They had a trainer working with him.
He's been riding the bike for 9 weeks.
Did he play in week 3?
Did he play in week 3?
He played.
Yeah, he played for like a quarter, I guess. So I'm stretching it a tiny bit.
So JT's idea of every
yeah.
He got 20.
Just say yeah, but still. Yeah, but still.
Anyway.
Let's talk about Rich. He's got to be thrilled with Fitzmagic and with him and Jackson. That looks like a good matchup. Murray's been great the past couple weeks. And he
can lose that one.
Cook back this week.
Cook, so he should be fine.
And he also gets Cooks back this week too.
And just the idea of Breeze putting up the 7.8. I mean, you just can't. You play Breeze every week.
And you wonder, will Cooper be better in Dallas?
It's an interesting situation. I think this is a good test to see, is this Dak or is this the receiving core?
Yeah, he's got a lot of weapons on that bench. I caught him on a good week. I mean, I think I would have beat most people anyway, but I caught him on the right.
I mean, look at the buys and an injury. I mean, there's no points. He has 0 points on his bench.
Yeah, that's his top 2 picks right there that are.
Yeah, you caught him on a good week.
Yeah. Hey, but hey, a win's a win. And I'll tell you what, I am only 70 points out of the last playoff spot currently, thanks to those 2 big weeks in a row. This zombie ain't dead yet.
Brian continues to be winless. He put up a 127 against a 197.
Not even a bad week.
Not a bad week for him.
Okay, but not a bad week, but not top 6.
No, I'm just saying it wasn't like he had like his Scarano-esque 85.
Yeah.
He's got to be just, I mean, coming out of Thursday night feeling okay. Deshaun going nuts with 36. Looking like, maybe he's got
okay, but still having this idea that, I don't know, the 197.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I mean,
made Tamala.
Listen, the Bell situation on his team, unless that changes, it's my team. His team is my team last year.
It is, and Tamala, you are just reaping every single one of these benefits with the Bell thing. As much as it's hurting,
it does help him.
It's been incredible for you. He's the number 4 player in fantasy. This is ridiculous. There's no other backup that's ever come in and done this well.
Yeah, his numbers are actually better than Bell's were at any point.
Yes.
During the first
which isn't expediting the process for Brian's team. You're not going to say that the problem with Pittsburgh is that they need Le'Veon Bell back.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. I mean, Tamala, you have plenty of depth, I think, and with Chubb and you know, a couple of your guys that you might be able to trade and make a move with, but this could be really interesting if Bell does or does not come back. Like,
I will say one thing in Brian's where some fortune did come. The Ty Montgomery leaving, I think, actually really helps him.
Yeah,
he's their back now. He's their back.
Agreed.
But to the Lindsey situation with you, JT.
Yeah, well, I just kind of hope Freeman doesn't come back. I heard he's practicing though, so.
But now I think you know, Galladay with Tate being gone, I think that helps Galladay too.
Marvin Jones, I think, gets a huge boost as well.
Yeah, I agree. You know, his team's not bad. You throw Bell in there, you know, you do that instead of Mosshart, and that's a 20-point bump. He's at a 150, and that's a much better looking score.
Yeah.
I mean, just put Bell in his lineup, and I think he's a 4-14.
Yep, tough stuff.
All right, let's go on to rankings.
Better not be 12th, you jerks.
And I have something on my sleeve, my friend.
No, don't worry, JT. You're definitely not 12th because that belongs to Brian.
Woohoo!
But you heard it here first. He's gonna get his first one this week.
Oh, well, hold on. I believe we had a discussion about this last week, and I said I believed he was going to get a win.
Your school lunch is on this.
Yeah, he's playing Casey.
We don't even work at the same school. We can't do it anymore, Matt. There's nothing more I hated than I'm walking my class down and I see someone with a funny-looking, funny-colored tie standing there waiting for their food. Nothing worse.
Who's he got this week, tomorrow?
He is playing Casey.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And, you know,
sorry about one of your ties, Tamal.
You know, I think there's a good chance that we have no more undefeated or unwinnable teams this week.
Yeah, we'll come to you in a minute, but
yeah, I was going to say except one.
It's going to be a couple spots, though. Don't worry.
I'm an any given Sunday type of guy, except
no,
one.
I know. It's ground to Tamala's point, though. You'll see why in a second. He does have quite a hill to climb this week. For once, he's actually being truthful.
All right, but no, like you said, I think Jones and Galladay get a big boost with his team.
Yep.
And you know, I think Watson too, because you know, with Thomas filling right in there.
Man, Fuller is good too. That's what drives me crazy. I had never really watched him until last week. He's good.
Oh yeah, he's a good player. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, first-round draft pick.
The only issue is they're not the same type of receiver.
No. So
we'll see if that makes a difference.
I think that's a savior for Hopkins too. I think Jake's got to be thrilled with that because Fuller did a nice job of relieving some pressure off of Hopkins, and now they would have just doubled him like crazy. So that's a smart move by Houston.
Yeah. All right. Next,
not paying a lot of money for a quarterback.
Next, we have Angela, who is up in her game.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this right now, this is real close. She's sitting. Oh no, she just changed it. She put Cam in.
I think she should.
Yeah, I thought she should too. And that's why I was surprised she wasn't. You know, it's interesting how the trades change the teams. You know, Jordy Nelson. We'll see what Cooper being out, if that does anything for her.
She catches a little bit of a crummy break with Golden Tate going on his second bye of the year.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know,
I think overall it will be good for him, though. Well, I don't know.
I don't think he'll get the same volume.
Been productive.
Detroit. He might have a better chance to score, but he won't get the same volume. And how does the Thomas trade affect Cootie? You know, he looked like he might be getting a boost. I know he's more of a slot receiver. And now it kind of looks like
I don't know. He had one good week, maybe two. And then he fell off pretty good against Buffalo and Jacksonville, and then he non-existence against Miami. So I'm not sure that he's worth keeping in.
By the way, Doug Martin has a 4.3 right now already, halfway through the fourth quarter.
I saw that. Nice pass from my sad quarterback, Derek Carr.
And who's the San Francisco quarterback?
Oh, Nick Mullins is running out there tonight.
Yeah, you know, and Rachel's playing Greg Kittle, and I just wonder if that because Kittle and the other San Francisco quarterback, weren't they college teammates?
Beathard or whatever.
Yeah, Beathard. Yeah, they were college teammates. So that was kind of the reason why he had such a connection with him. So I wonder if that hurts Kittle's value.
Just as a quick side note, how weird is fantasy, man? I mean, this game could not be any more garbage. Oakland versus San Francisco. It's.
But I will say, Jay, if you know when you schedule it, let's say you schedule this a full year ago, you're saying it's Carr Garoppolo in the same city. It could be cool.
Listen, what I'm saying is that we have a lot of people still playing.
Yes, it is true. It is true. We have people playing.
Kamala,
like
one of them just
schedule it looks good.
And his name is George Kittle. So there you go.
All right. Rachel, she comes in at number 10. She has some great matchups. You know, Mahomes playing Cleveland, Peterson playing Atlanta. She has Robert Woods against New Orleans. You know, so, and then Marvin Jones, you know, without Tate there.
It's a boost.
He's clearly number one, and he had a huge week. Was it last week or the week before?
I believe it was the week before.
Yeah,
last week against Minnesota.
It was last week.
I think, you know, a big question is she doesn't have that one consistent player. And Peterson's been stepping up to be that second big bruiser for her. But can he stay healthy?
Yeah, she's got my quarterback in there, but this is a tough week for her. She's lost her number one receiver and her number one running back.
Yeah.
All right.
But I do like Peterson this year, man. He's an RB1.
Casey, and I already told you I thought he was going to lose. And if you look at his flex spots.
Oh, I can't help but notice I haven't been listed yet.
You know, right now he's playing Cole Beasley, Theoretic, and then Cannon. I don't even know what.
I dropped him. I just dropped him.
Is it Trenton Cannon?
It is. It's the Jets like third down back. A couple catches last week. He didn't look bad.
Hold on, I'm counting tight ends.
And then, you know, actually we didn't talk about Doyle coming back. That's a big hit to Ebron's value.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of his better players.
And did they play 3 tight ends last week and all 3 caught a touchdown? I know Ebron caught a touchdown and Doyle caught a touchdown.
I mean, right now he's running with Vance McDonald. And
which is hit or miss.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's either that or Gates. I don't like either one of those.
You know, and I understand he's 4-4, but honestly, and you know, really just in looking at this, with all these tight ends and all this foolishness here, you know, this is a bad team.
Well, in his defense, his second round pick is not playing. So
he's hoarding tight ends too, though.
Well, you know what's funny? We made fun of him because he had that tight end from the Broncos.
By the way, he has, because he tried to do it against me when I didn't have one.
And he scored.
Yeah.
We kind of laughed about it, but he scored. So, but like I said, I think this is just a rough week for Casey, and he's going to take the L.
I put him at 9 next week. Keep going.
Ryan's going to need a little more out of Jalen Richard. Jalen Richard first quarter only a 1.2. That's his number one starting back right now.
All right. And JT, how do you feel playing Derek Carr tonight?
Not great. Not great.
Yeah. And then I believe you have Royce Freeman in your lineup.
I do not.
You did when I pulled this.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I did just put him back in because I made the move for Powell. That's right. I apologize.
And is he still projected for a 0?
Freeman?
Yeah.
He wasn't as of 2 days ago, but I didn't look.
I believe they changed his projection to a 0.
Yes, he is currently.
That's good for you then.
Yeah, honestly, that's fine. I'll make a move, and I don't really like playing him anyway. He's a touchdown vulture, and that's it. The only reason he gets points is if he scores a touchdown, and if he doesn't, he will not be above a 5.
Yeah, and you're getting hit. You are getting hit a little bit on bias here. I mean, but
a little bit,
dude.
That's my entire starting lineup. That's literally 5 guys I would play.
Yeah, that's tough. I doesn't help that you're playing Michael.
So, no, listen, he takes a couple hits on buys too. What would you guys have done? I could have gone for Fitzpatrick, but they're playing at Carolina. I didn't.
No.
And I knew this is a 1 week thing because I get luck back next week.
I thought the Carr pick was the right pick to make.
Okay, I mean, I
don't drink the Kool-Aid. I don't drink the Kool-Aid on San Francisco's defense. I know there's some positive hype around them lately.
I think
I'm playing 2 Raiders. I don't buy them.
I think Fitzmagic was the right call. But if I didn't get him, I probably would have tried for Carr.
Fair enough. Hey, I just got a little news coming through. George Kittle walking back to the locker room. Haley, tough break.
Tough break, Bo.
But you know what? She already got 3 points out of her tight end. That's better than a lot of them that are out there.
Sure.
It's true.
All right. Next, Rich. Gordon, he had the bye last week. He missed the London game before that. We're assuming he's healthy, but we don't really know.
Really weird. I didn't even know he was in any kind of concern, and then all of a sudden he's now questionable.
That was one that popped up at the London game like very last minute. That would have been non-me flipping out or saying anything mean about not setting your lineup if he would have messed that up.
Agreed. He caught that quick. I was impressed that he saw that for a London game early in the morning. I could have easily missed that one myself.
Yeah. But it's a hammy. It was a hamstring, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just surprised that it's in this situation.
That's a late game. I mean, I would probably move him to the flex.
Yeah, give yourself a few more options.
But Jackson with Fitzmagic, that's got to help. Cooper on the bench right now.
I hear he's gonna play,
but it will be interesting to see what he does.
And again, if you moved into the flex, you would have Cooper as your flex spot right there.
And the Cowboys called a press conference for tomorrow afternoon.
Really?
It would be an extension for Cooper.
Wow.
Probably not. But
I would definitely not. I think you'd be very, very, very foolish if you're gonna pay Dak Prescott.
Yeah. And then it's interesting to see what happens with Sanders without Thomas there. You may say, oh, he's going to get more targets. But who was the number one?
I think it's difficult on any players anytime your team has a fire sale.
But, was the top cornerback covering Thomas or Sanders?
Probably Sanders at this point.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. He
plays. It might be one of those situations where they just do the preferred side.
Maybe. And Sanders plays more of the slot, but that will be interesting to see if they can game plan more.
Well, the idea was they wanted Cortland Sutton out there, right? So maybe he steps up now.
Okay.
Hopefully.
That's somebody I took a run at.
Yep. All right, Scarano.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you dropped a little this week.
Took a tumble, Chief.
Look, the Michelle loss really hurt you.
Yes.
2 weeks now. And then McCaffrey against Tampa Bay.
Oh, I'm definitely playing them. Their defense is a sieve. Are you kidding me?
But will they need or will Cam?
I think that Cam will dump off the ball to him and throw the ball to him all the time. He'll be so involved in the passing game. I think this is one of his best weeks.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
The defense they're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I think McCaffrey's one of the best running backs in the NFL in a PPR league. Like, absolutely not.
All right.
I think
looks good running around this week too.
I have concerns, but what do I know? And then you're running with Muscle Hamster, and look, 4.3 right now, looking good.
Yeah.
See if he keeps it up.
Update: San Francisco just scored again. The classic combination of Nick Mullins to Kendrick Bourne.
Sounds like you're making it up, my friend.
Might as well be.
All right, Joelle, going number 5. She has lost some buys this week too. AJ Green and Tyler Boyd.
Been great.
I didn't realize how many Cincinnati Bengals she actually had on her team.
Yeah, with Uzomah as well. Boyd has been just fantastic. What a stellar waiver pickup he was.
Yeah, and it wouldn't help her, but AJ Green walking around in a boot. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I saw that. He's always gimpy though.
Yeah.
Week off. He'll probably be okay.
And we'll see what happens with Thomas in Houston now. Jordan Reed, I believe, had 12 targets. He caught 7 of them last week.
Yeah, after nothing all year. That guy's a roller coaster. What a pain in the butt.
But just the fact that he's starting to get more targets, because he wasn't getting any kind of targets in the beginning of the year.
I just feel like he could step out onto the field before practice, twist his ankle, and not play.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the players who I just keep on my undraftable list.
And then
I remember buying before.
And then we mentioned the Green Bay trade, HaHa Dix going to Washington, and it kind of makes you wonder if Green Bay.
I'm just saying, like, you have a quarterback who people could have argued is the best to lace him up, and you just got rid of 2 guys. I mean, come on, man, I'd give up.
So, but you're
the third best team in your division, and a division that I think is winnable. You're dealing with Trubisky. You're dealing with Cousins. These are not Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks, man. And you're just giving up like that?
But
I tell you this right now. I have trouble if I'm a Green Bay Packer playing the next week.
But, Scarano, what I'm saying is if anything else were to happen with Rodgers' knee, do they say, well, we've kind of given up on the season. Let's just put you on the shelf for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I could see that happening. I think it's somewhat happened last year.
Well,
I think it's somewhat happened with luck. Fantasy, that's a disaster for anyone who has a Packer.
Yeah, the injury's worse, but with Joelle having Rodgers as her quarterback, is she worried about that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Is that something in her mind? I mean, she has
Rivers,
but I'd rather have Rodgers.
I would too, but she has the depth here.
All right, moving on. Number 4, Colin. Look, Gurley and her Bears are, keeping up. He picked up Sutton. Like
I'm talking about too.
Minnesota's defense starting to play better. A solid team.
Yeah,
they're looking good lately.
But he's playing Jake this week, so he's probably going to come away with a loss. I'm hoping he can pull it out, but
will that affect his ranking? Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Again,
sure affects mine.
It'll be interesting with New Orleans.
85 points, buddy.
New Orleans does. If they could turn it into a shootout, will that affect Gurley's value? Will he only get like a 20 instead of like a 38? You never know. Wilson's been really hot. I heard something. He's throwing touchdowns like every 6 passes. He's getting a touchdown, which is ridiculous.
I heard you have a potential Todd Gurley MVP discussion going on right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'd say he's the front runner.
Okay.
And then
I would never give it to anyone but a quarterback, but okay.
Bears are playing Buffalo. Buffalo had a wonderful defensive performance. But will this be a Howard week or will it be a Cohen week? That affects Colin's team a lot.
I don't like you saying that they were wonderful.
No, their defense, Buffalo defense, played great.
Played pretty well.
Pretty well. I knew it'd be that guy.
No, they did. They held them.
They managed to stop them. They did like a bend but don't break. They managed to stop them, but between the 30s, they were able to move the ball right up and down the field on them.
Yeah.
No 3 and outs. No.
In my opinion, I heard this mentioned. I heard that New England basically looked at the Bills game as we're probably going to get the win, and we don't want to show anything for our next week matchup against the Packers.
Play vanilla.
Yeah. Listen, credit to the Bills. They looked pretty good on defense. but Packers are on their minds, and the Pats knew what they were going against on offense was going to be just atrocious.
Yeah. Okay.
That is this week.
What do you mean?
Oh, Peterman playing?
Matt Barkley will be fine.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've been there. All right. Number 3, Michael, tough loss. We talked about it. Concerns about his team. Hill, he's had a little bit of an injury this week.
Downgraded today.
Yeah.
Early in the week, but you never like to see that.
Yeah, and even if he's fully practicing, does it carry over? It was one of those lingering things.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 wideout in the league.
And then he lost his quarterback. Like we said, he's been playing Winston. Goff's been great. So it shouldn't be a concern, but he also hasn't been playing.
It is the case where, Goff does have one bad week, but like you playing Winston was a little bit of a gamble each week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were taking it was like blackjack and you were taking a hit on 15. Until finally it just didn't pay off for you.
Moving on. Jake, he has a projected high score this week with a 146. And that's with his starting running back on bye.
That's a good team, my friend. I think this might give you some worthy competition.
Good
Yeah.
deep.
I didn't really know what else to say. I don't really have any concerns about his team at all.
No, he did a great job coming out of the draft. He said, "I really don't like my running backs," and I would say that's not as much of a concern right now.
Well,
and I think for your bye week to as Ingram as a replacement there, I think that's a great replacement.
Yeah, I mean Mixon stayed healthy this year. He's probably been better than what he expected. I guess with Chris Thompson, if he can stay healthy. You never know with him. He was kind of banged up, but he looks like he's better now.
I think Brady
that combination of those 2 receivers is just incredible.
But you know what? He does have McGuire on IR, and that could really give him a boost for the playoffs.
That could hurt Cannon too.
Yeah.
So, and then moving on. I'm number 1 somehow.
Yeah, you deserve to be number 1, but this week may be your first L.
It's a tough week. He's rolling with Fitzmagic here. Interesting. He doesn't have a defense or anyone to pick up on tight end. You should get a trade going with Casey.
Maybe I should.
Yeah, problem is trade somebody.
Yeah, I don't quite know exactly what I'm gonna do. There's really no one out there on waivers.
And I'm gonna tell you the honest to goodness in this one. I'd prefer it like how you have it, buddy. Look, dude, you're missing Wentz and Barkley. Just get it all over with.
Yeah, Tamal, I think that you have enough of a point lead where you're gonna do fine no matter what. There's no way you don't make the playoffs. There's no way you don't have probably the top points in the league, even if you sit these 2 positions. These are not 2 historically high-scoring positions. If you wanted to make a move, you could drop one of your guys that you do have available down there. None of them are people maybe you want to drop, but there's certainly not anybody that's going to be seismic on the waiver wire. And you can take the L.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame you.
You never want to, but
you never want to, man. But if you took away your tight end and your defense last week, you would have still won by 30. So I'm not sure it's going to officially determine you to lose.
Yeah. All right. So these are the ranking breakdowns.
I goosed myself a little bit with that 7. I was feeling my oats that next day.
I had Rich.
I had some of mine too with you guys trolling me and everything like that. Oh no.
JT, you had Joel quite a bit higher. And I had Rich quite a bit higher.
Our biggest thing was Rich. That's the biggest disparity I think we've had all year.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in just a second. So these are the standings. And Rich is there at 4-4, and Joel is there at 3-5.
Right. And so looking at playoffs, it's you and Jake on the bye, Michael and Colin in the 3-4 spot, and then Rich and Joel as the two people taking the next two spots.
And that's just based on points.
That's points. And then so Joel, even at 3-5, doesn't matter. She's got the lead over Scarano in points.
And there's the points.
How is that?
Yeah, she has 1106 and Scarano has 1052. So, a comfortable 50-point lead.
Yeah, and honestly, she's higher than Colin, who's just sneaking in because his record's good enough to get him the 4 seed. That's why points become so important. And if you're looking down, there's only 2 teams that I think are really out of the race in points now. I was that 3rd team, and I still have a very, very long way to go. But I'm currently only 30 points behind Scarano. And I would like you to take a quick look at my points for and points against.
Yeah.
1/10 of a point difference. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And the one thing that I kind of moved Joelle up. She has a lot of points against.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think most in the league, other than Angela.
Brian.
Oh, I meant to say Brian. Most in the league, other than Brian.
Just to clarify, those are no votes.
So
Michael Thomas also with a lot. I think I'm a little off on Joel being most, but there's a couple teams that have really had a tough go of that.
And then interesting stat that means nothing. KC 4-1 at home, 0-3 on the road.
Literally means nothing. Literally.
Depends. Well, it puts you on a different side of the screen.
Oh, never mind.
I
don't think it actually does put you on a different side of the screen. Only if it's not but if it's your game, I think it's the same.
No idea. Good news.
I have no idea. I was meaning other people's games, but I have no idea.
All right.
Let's look at some matchups.
Matchups.
All right. Let's start with Jake against Colin.
Got it. 2 top squads, 2 playoff squads. The number 2 team versus the number 4 team. We're starting to get to the time where we're going to start to talk about that a little bit more. We only got 5 weeks left.
Yeah. And Colin's team seems like he's always projected low, and then he comes on late. I think he has a lot of West Coast teams on his squad, and they've just been outperforming their projections all year.
A little smoke and mirrors, a little bit. I mean, I look at his squad and it doesn't seem as good as it's been performing. Like, he truly only has Gurley, and I'm not sure there's any other stars on the team. Wilson's good, obviously, but not a star, I would say. He's 17th ranked quarterback.
Kupp can be good when he's healthy.
Yeah, but that's a big caveat there.
I like Burton as a tight end.
He's been better lately, but he had a up and down.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. You know what? Carson has actually been rather.
The only thing that bothers me about Colin's team is, why does he have Dez Bryant on his team?
Well, listen, he's had 9 straight weeks of a bye. I think he's rested. Good. We'll see what happens.
Maybe that Hard Knocks thing that got Hugh Jackson fired, that whole show where he came into the building with the cutoff shirt and the earphones, that might pay off for him, and they'll sign him soon.
All right, what's next?
Well, anything you want to say about Jake's team?
I mean, not that we haven't already said. Deep, smart.
Scarano, you are taking on Joel, and you are currently winning 7.7 to 2.
There we are, my friend. Look, I get her on the projections. My guy's got to show up, though. I mean, like, I can't have anything like last week happen. I won't even come close to winning. I do think the Tampa Bay matchup with the Panthers guys is favorable. And the concern is Washington is one of those teams that I think is a little better than most people think going against Atlanta.
They have a much better defense than people give them credit.
People think like everyone thinks that like, oh, they're not that good of a team, and I'm almost like they're kind of like the best bad team in football.
But are they a bad team though? They're first in the division.
Yeah, I mean, they have the division. It's a bad division. I don't know. I see your Eagles taking this clear away now that Golden Tate's there.
Middle.
I think it's everything they needed.
You're gonna want something more. You need Oakland to get the ball back here in the first half and to put up some numbers for your guys, because Martin's fine with the 5.6, but you're looking for more from Cook on a night like this. I'm in the same boat because my two guys from Oakland are currently not doing much of anything at all. But a 2 from a kicker.
And I'm wondering if maybe Cook could come on later with some garbage time the way it's looking.
Listen, I'll take all the garbage there is.
That's where a lot of his points come from.
Yeah.
2 from a kicker is not a big deal. 2 from a tight end hurts a little more.
Yeah. I think with Joel, though, Rodgers will play up to the competition of the Patriots. I think Cohen will have a better game than Howard this week. 4
straight weeks of great scores from Cohen. He's really turned it on.
And then, Elliott, after the bye against Tennessee, I think they're just going to run all over him.
Yeah, and I like the Humphreys pickup.
Yeah,
I looked at him myself. He seems to have a good connection with Fitz.
All right. Moving on, Angela and Rachel. And this is projected close right now. It's 3.6 to 2.5. Although Kittle did leave.
Back. Just came back.
I think this is going to be a close game.
I think it's going to be a close game. I look for Jones to continue to have a lot of production, though. I think that Tate leaving. I think that Stafford was looking towards one of them or the other almost each week, and I think that he's a clear number 1.
And I think Mahomes is just going to roll all over Cleveland.
Haley, do something about that the Cleveland defense.
I'm looking at this, and no offense to either squad, but I'm not sure this week is very consequential in the grand scheme of things. I don't think either of these teams are going to get the wins to make the playoffs, and I'm pretty certain Angela can't get the points, and Rachel is looking not impossible, but much like me in some dire straits for that. So
yeah, but you know what? At the same time, both of them have been playing. Both like you said, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference in the long run. But the league is stronger as a whole when people play the whole year.
Agreed. I want them, and I don't ever necessarily worry about that from our league very much. But I was just saying this week doesn't seem to have as much impact with this matchup.
All right. Next, we got Casey taking on Brian.
I think this is maybe Casey's last stand. I think if he loses to Brian, which we talked about possibly happening, this could be the end of.
Yeah, this could be confident. He won't have a chance of coming at anywhere near the record getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean the record would be he'd be 4-5, but his points are not great, and I just don't know. I just don't know if he's got the depth. Some of the guys he's having to play. I mean, I don't know.
I just don't. He's holding on to all these guys. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I
don't like it. But I understand that he thinks he's hoarding them from others, but it's not working for him.
But Scarano, at the same time, I mean, he has been much more active the past couple weeks than he has been. He's making some solid moves.
Yeah,
I think this could be his first loss.
I think Brian gets the W. Come on, Brian, pull it out, buddy.
The Richard one is the concern on Brian's, but again, it's all going back to that running back depth that you just can't have with Bell sitting there.
Get yourself over 1,000 points. You can do it.
There we go. All right, next we have JT. You are taking on the Michael Thomas.
This is why when you asked me before if I was feeling good, Scrano, this is why I say no. Because the minute I get 2 good weeks in a row between injuries and buys, my team is decimated.
Tough matchup. It's a tough matchup, man.
I'm playing garbage. Absolute garbage. I think I start putting up some better things. I did just make a move that is a complete 1,000,000% flyer that I will probably end up taking out, but that would be Terrell Pryor. I don't know.
Do you think that maybe your chance of winning here would be Hill being out?
Yeah, I don't even think that really makes enough of a difference. I'm projected to lose by 40, and I think I will lose in the 20 to 30 range for sure.
Okay. So you're feeling good? No.
I do, however, like the David Moore pickup. That was my number one waiver acquisition, and I'm pretty excited by that. He's got 4 touchdowns his last 3 games. Seems to have a great connection with Wilson. He's going to be something I think I'm going to be playing every week. He's not just a buy fill-in. I'm really pleased with that.
What was I going to say? I don't know.
Kenyon Drake too, been turning around.
Yeah,
I don't hate my team. I really think my team's pretty good. If you took this team and added Fournette and Will Fuller to it, I think it's a really good team.
Yes, that'd be a very good team.
I think and you know what, your buy might actually be coming at all those buys. Like, yeah, it sucks for this week, but it might be helping you.
Yeah, but I just
kind of dug yourself deep though a little bit for that to be happening now.
I just need points so bad. I'm still far behind in points still.
But like you said, after this week, I mean, if you know, a little bit healthier, you know, like you've had the second highest score the past 2 weeks. So maybe not this week, but going forward, I think you'll be all right.
I can tell you the 8.3 I have for my quarterback and wide receiver right now are ensuring I won't have a high score this week.
All right, and last is I am taking on Rich.
Yeah. That's better.
Thank you.
Tamala, you got plenty of days to decide this, but
I think you're going to fill those 2 positions. I think you're going to figure something out, Tamala.
Open, or are you leaning towards trying to find a way to make that happen?
I will probably pick up a defense.
What's more enticing? Just keeping your team intact, or the perfect fantasy season?
No, I mean I don't care about the perfect fantasy season.
Wow.
I
would.
No,
I would too.
I want the champion. I'm pissed that I lost to Angela last year. You know, that's what I want. I want to make sure, like, you know, yeah, Connor's been absolutely wonderful for me. But every day I check the news, did Bell report? I mean, and it's just gonna drop. I'm gonna have to.
I like that it's torturing you, even though you're winning. I want to clarify. I like that.
We should just start sending texts and be like, Bell! Exclamation point.
You know, one of these ways to make fake news and.
But like, Scarano, what you were saying in the beginning of the year, you have to take some flyers.
Yes.
I'm trying to take some flyers, so if I have to replace Connor, I have someone, and that's why I don't.
But I think your Connor flyer that you took was the payout. I think that I was fishing around with certain other younger guys, thinking that they would pay off, but it was really a guy who had played 1 year, and it was nobody thought Bell held out would last this long.
But like. I want that flyer. I want as many opportunities to try and get someone who will have an impact.
You were surprised that you had him the first week.
Yeah, but Tamala, I mean, you have that luxury, and I think you have a couple guys. I think DJ Moore could be that flyer. He might turn out to be the number one over Funchess, or at least a solid guy down there. You know, you're one Tevin Coleman hamstring away from Ito Smith being a starter. You never know. You got some chances, and the luxury of being 8-0 is that you can play around with it. The fact that you can sit there and debate not playing 2 players and be like, is a really nice luxury to have.
It is.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, week 9, this is big. This is really where the playoff stuff starts to come into play.
All right, guys, it's been real. Thanks. I'm sorry, you know, we haven't had a single viewer all night, but that's all right.
It happens.
Yeah, we moved the night.
We also changed the time and date, so.
Hey, Grano, you won the player thing last week. Todd Gurley was the highest. Congratulations. That is your second win in the last 3 weeks. Tamala, you're still holding it down with only 1 victory.
Yeah.
I mean,
can I pick my guy right now?
So, but I have 5.
Yeah, pick your guy.
You got one?
How about Thielen?
Thielen, have you had him yet?
I have not.
You have not. All right, buddy. That's all you. Tamala, have you thought about one that you might want?
I'm gonna take Gurley.
Is your first Gurley week?
Wait a second.
No, I had Gurley. I
took it back.
But then I changed it to Thielen.
He had it and then pulled back.
And you took him and you won.
That's right. And so it would have been a smart call. I'm going to take Tarek Cohen.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sorry, Bills, but that's how the crumbled.
If you noticed, I didn't wear my Bills gear today.
I sadly did.
All right, guys, we signing off here.
Yeah.
No hot takes, Grano?
No, I don't have a hot take. I will say, if you ever want to make sure that you as a coach will have a nail in your coffin, put your team on Hard Knocks. The 2-5 record could be misconstrued in many ways. They're 3-5 in Indy right now. There's nothing but optimism. They've had a very tough schedule. They got their first win in like 30 games. He got fired because of what people saw on Hard Knocks.
And a great deal of infighting with his coaching staff.
Yes, which was viewed on Hard Knocks by everyone in the nation.
And being a terrible coach.
Yeah, I think being a terrible coach played a role.
He's never been a good coach. Even as an offensive coordinator, he was never a good coach.
I am telling you, they kept him when he'd lost 30 games in a row. But you're going to fire him now that you've had one of the hardest schedules? The infighting, where did that all originate from? It was on TV.
He deserved to go. I'm not even going to.
But supposedly he's never worked with a top 10 quarterback.
I think that you have a promising quarterback right now.
So,
all right, fellas.
Signing off.
Have a good night.
Good luck. See ya.